The courts, however, should respect our constitutional authority to fix what's broken in government.
And our Supreme Court in Florida has failed us over and over.
What we know today is that the status quo is unacceptable.
And that right now, that's the real need for reform in the judicial branch.
The proponents of this legislation seek to modify the form and function of the Florida Supreme Court for reasons that are not supported by objective standards of measure or undisputed facts.
I want you to know without question what this is. This is about 400 tragic, life-altering stories.
Nobody has asked how many victims are waiting for justice to be delivered.
Well, we have more death row inmates dying of natural causes than of the death penalty.
Today, I am voting for this bill to stick it to every death row inmate in the state of Florida.
But by having two separate divisions within one singular Supreme Court, we allow for specialization of the justices, and that will then create greater efficiencies and allow these cases to move quicker.
In Texas, they have this process. In Oklahoma, they have this process. And in those states, they have the death penalty, and they use it. In the state of Florida, our death penalty structure is a logjam, and frankly, in some circumstances, we ought to set up an expressway.
There are people sitting today waiting for justice to be delivered, victims who can continually be delayed because of a backlog inside the court.
It is bold and it is unique, but we owe it to our judges, our state attorneys, and our public defenders.
To vote against this is to say that we don't care about you, Mr. Businessman, who's had a significant breach of contract take your business under. We don't care about commerce, we only care about criminal.
So this is not court packing, it's helping the court to become more efficient and effective to serve the people of Florida.
We've heard that the people who this legislation seeks to reform, they don't really want the reform. Well, I'm sure that the pill mill drug dealers don't want reform, but we're reforming them. I'm sure that people who commit Medicaid fraud don't want reform, but we're reforming them. And so it's appropriate sometimes to bring reform to those who don't necessarily want it. That's why we've been elected. That's our fundamental obligation as members of the legislature. I'm not afraid to make the argument that we need more efficiency, more accountability, more transparency, and more specialization. That'll be my message, and I look forward to seeing all of you on the campaign trail.